Hello, and thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I'm very happy you are here with me today. And today I want to go over how to clean data in Excel. So it could be a CSV file, an Excel file, pretty much the same process. So what we are here now looking at the data. This is customer data. So this is like purchasing certain items. So as you can see, there's product type. So you can see under product type is like smartphone, tablets, laptop, all that stuff. And then order status is cancellation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of get an idea of what this data is about just by looking at it. So you can see there is age of the customer ID, there's their address, loyalty, rather if they're loyalty a member or not, their gender is in here, the rating of the item, SKU number, order status, which rather if it was canceled or completed. So just looking at all this data, just kind of, like I said, just getting familiar with it. So what I like to do is first is I like to go to my data tab here on the top, and then I like to select filters. So make sure you're on this first A1 when you hit filters, because that I want to make sure my filters are up here on this first column. So here in these columns, every column here is a variable. So we call these variables. So customer ID is a variable, age is a variable. So I'm looking at these variables and just kind of click on this little arrow down and go to the very bottom. And at the bottom, it's usually blank cells or NA cells in your cells. So there's nothing here. So if I go to the next one and kind of scroll down, there's no NAs or blanks in that one. For street address, same thing. Scroll all the way down. There's none. You could also just go to your search here, put NA, nothing. So just kind of like going through here, seeing if there's any NAs in the columns. And while you're doing that, also just kind of like visualizing your data as to like making sure they're all numbers. Like for zip code should be all numbers there, no text. Sometimes depending on your data set, it could have text there. Like I said, just depending on it. Look, a gender here, it has an NA. So I want to unselect all and only select the NA. Just take a look at that NA. So as you can see, there's only 2 of them here. So since there are only 2, it's not going to really affect the data. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. But it depends on your data cleaning. You can delete them. And basically, the way you delete it is you would just kind of put your cursor over this first row. See how it has an arrow? You click on it and drag down. Now it highlights those 2 rows, and you would right click and hit delete. So now you would delete those rows. I'm going to hit the back button because I don't want to delete those. So, but that's how you would delete them. So now, as you can see, my filters are on because it's still showing those 2. So up here on the top where it has clear, you can clear your filters. So, and it goes back to showing you all of the data. So the loyalty member is good. That one's good. We're just looking for any blanks or NAs in this data set. And these are the actual total price, total units, the quantity here, date purchased, and express. Okay, so those all look good. So next thing I want to do is I want to see if there's any duplicate person IDs. So there's a way to look at duplicates. You can highlight this column by just simply going up to where it says A here, that A column. And right when you see that arrow, you can click on it and it right away highlights that whole column. Okay, so once you highlight that column, you go to your home page up here and go to conditional formatting. highlight cells, and I want to highlight all of my duplicates so I can duplicate values. So now it's asking me, okay, you want to highlight your duplicates or unique? So I want duplicates. Then it asks you what color. So you want like a light red, fill with dark red. You can do yellow, green, whatever color you want. But in this case, I want to do red. So I'm going to click that and hit OK. So now you can see it's highlighting my duplicates. So what I can do is I can highlight the whole data set by clicking on this little upside down triangle here on the corner, clicking it, and it highlights all of my data set. So now I can do is go to Data, and up here on the top it says Remove Duplicates. So I'm going to click that. Now what this is doing is it's grabbing all of my variables here on the top, as you can see. It's asking me, what do I want to unduplicate by what column? Sometimes you might open it and it might look like this. And if it does, all you have to do is say, my data has headers. Click that. Right now it's selecting all of your variables. So you want to unselect all and click on customer ID and OK, because that's the column I want to unduplicate. So I hit OK. Now it tells me there was 3,606 duplicate values found and removed. So it gives you that message there. Just click OK. So now, as you can see, all of my duplicate values are gone. So I unduplicated my customer ID. So now it's capturing each customer, not by their purchases, but by each customer. So now, as you can see, I could go and click on this row, and I can hit Shift Control and then my arrow down to highlight that column. And here on the bottom, it says count. So I have 5,679 now. Those are how many rows I have. So now I'm going to do a Control Home, and it takes me back to cell A1. That's Control Home, takes me back to cell A1. Okay, so now I did my unduplications. So now I want to do is show you how to move columns. So if I want to move a column, I would just simply highlight the column. Again, just click on any column I want to move. For example, if I want to move this to the front of and put in a column, all I do is I click on it on the top and it highlights that whole row. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit cut. Then I'm going to click on the A where I want it to be and then right click, and here it says insert cut cells. I want to insert. So now that SQU moved from this area to now in column A. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is look at these addresses here. The address, city, and zip code. So it's all separated. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put it into one column. So again, to highlight, just click all the way down, making sure you click on the G. That's the G column. I want to add a column here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to put insert. And when I hit insert, it gave me a new column, but it's blank. So what I'm going to name this, you can double click in there to name it whatever you want. I'm going to name this address. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 3 cells and put it into one cell. So I'm going to be using a formula for that. So anytime you start a formula, you have to click on the equal signs. Then you click on the actual cell, which is D2. Now I'm going to put an and sign. So I'm telling it to say, okay, I want this column and I want it to do a space. So I'm going to do a quotation mark, space, quotation mark. And I want E2, that cell. And again, quotation mark, space, quotation mark, and this cell, F2. So now I'm going to hit enter. Now it's pulling all of this address, as you can see, 123 Jane Street, Austin, Texas, and the zip code. So now I want it to fill all of these, grab each of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see this little corner where it has a darker box. So I'm going to just put my cursor over that box until I see a plus sign, and then I'm going to double click it to fill all the way down. Now you can see grabbing all of these cells here, like for this one, for example, 337 Penn Street, it's there. But notice when I click on these cells, you can see up here the actual formula. So if I happen to delete one of these, just to show you an example, like say if I deleted the zip code, now it's going to show that it's something went wrong. So I'm going to hit my back button to go back. So for it not to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that first cell. I'm going to do a shift control down to highlight the whole column again. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy that column. Now I'm going to paste it without that formula. So it's only the text itself. So I'm pasting it with that 1, 2, 3 there, just the values. So now when I click, I'm going to hit escape. So now when I click on these cells, you'll see that the actual address is now there and the formula is gone. So now I can go ahead and delete these 3 columns by simply clicking on it, keeping my cursor down, and then highlighting all of these 3. And once I highlighted them, I let my cursor go. And I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to hit delete. So now I have a full address here instead of them being in 3 different columns. So that's how to add in columns with that formula. So next, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and look at these dates here. So let's look at purchase date. So as you can see, purchase date has just a regular formatting date. So you want to make sure this is formatted as a date, which it is. So I want to go ahead and pull just the month and just the year from this formula. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and again, click on this letter O to highlight that column because I'm going to insert a column there and I'm going to right click, insert. So this, I'm going to call it month because I'm going to pull this month from each of these dates here by using a formula. So again, before you use a formula, you need to start with an equal sign. So this formula is going to be text. As you can see, as I'm writing it down, this pops up. So you can double click it or hit tab. Then I want it to grab this cell and I'm going to hit comma because every time you have a statement, you have to separate it with the comma. So I'm grabbing that cell, and next what I want it to do is I want it to just grab the month. So I'm going to do a quotation and then M 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then quotation. And then now I'm going to do a close parentheses and enter. So now you can see that it pulled in March. So it's grabbing in that month. So I'm going to, again, fill down by simply going over this dark square box until I get a little cross. Now I'm going to double click to fill down. So now you will see that it's pulling in the month from the date in the end column. So October, May, there's January, December. So now that we have our months, what we can do is we can add the year. So if you want to grab that year from that column, you simply just insert a new column. And let's call this year.
So now we'll start off with our formula. So I'm going to double click in here and then go to equals. So I'm going to type in equals, text. You can hit tab to fill in this, let it fill it in for you. Then I want it to grab this column here. So I'm going to click into this column and put a comma and a quotation mark. And instead of M's, I want to grab the years. So I'm going to do Y's 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another quotation, and then a close parentheses. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now it grabbed the 2024 from this column. So again, I'm going to go here to the bottom corner of my cell till I see a plus sign, double click to fill down. So now you can see it has filled up for those years. So now that we cleaned up all of our data, now I'm going to go ahead and insert a pivot table. So to insert a pivot table, basically you have to fill up all of your data so it can grab your data into this pivot table. To kind of highlight all of your data, you're going to again go up to the top left corner here where there's like an upside triangle. You click on it and that highlights everything in your sheet. Now I'm going to go to Insert on the top here, tab of Excel. I'm going to put Insert and then I'm going to put Pivot Table. Now this window will pop up and it will ask you table range. So it's just verifying the table range, which is from A to all the way down to Q2, which is correct because I highlighted all of the data. Then it's going to ask you choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. So you can place it in new worksheet, existing worksheet. And if you click existing, then you have an option to locate your existing worksheet. But in this case, we're going to do new worksheet. So it also gives you an option to choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. So in this case, we don't want to. So we're just going to do new worksheet and hit OK. Now you will see that there's a new tab that was created here.
So as I go into this next sheet here, you're going to see all of these variables here on the top are now in this area here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just kind of get a visual of a table, so a pivot table. So let's look at gender. So let's see how many purchases were made by gender. So I'm going to do female and male. So what I do is I just drag gender into rows and drag gender into values. So these are your rows here, and this is your values. So again, look, there's 2 NAs, which we saw. So you can do this little drop down here and select what you only want to see. So females, I want to see, and males. I don't want to see NAs and I don't want to see blanks. So I'm going to click that. And now you can see that there are 2,767 females and that were purchased, that are customers, and males is 2,990. Another cool thing I can do is I can basically just highlight this and click on insert here on the top and put, let's do a bar chart. Click on a bar chart and then you have a bar chart. So the thing about doing a bar chart within the pivot table itself gives you this little interactions where you can do, so you can filter out. So say you only want to see females. You can just see the females. You want to see just males, then you can only see males. So that's what's cool about it, is it has that interaction. Also, if you put your cursor over it, it shows you the numbers. So total point of males, there's the value there, and females, there's the value there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So when you accidentally takes away this little pivot table here, all you have to do is click in your pivot box, your table, and it pops back up. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the gender And let's do payment method. So I'm going to look for payment method in rows and values. And let's look at cancellations. So if I scroll down and find a cancellation status, which is order status, and go and drag it into columns. Look at what it does. So it's showing your columns as canceled and completed. That's the order status. So again, you can just click here to get rid of your blanks. Any blanks you just uncheck. So now you have a table of cash cancellations and your cash for cancellations and completed, credit cards, debit cards, PayPal, etc. And again, you can go ahead and highlight this without selecting the grand totals, just the total completed, total cancellation. And again, just insert, and then you can do another table. And here is another visual. So then it gives you a better visualization of canceled payments, which is in blue, and completed in orange. So if you click that and delete, click into your table. So let's check unit price. So instead of actual count of payments, let's do unit price. So I'm going to get this unit price here and I'm going to drag it and drop it into values. And now you can see that it actually shows the dollar amount. But if you want to change that to show more of the dollar sign, you could just go to your home tab, click dollar, and it will show you the dollar amounts there. Another cool feature is, again, you can just highlight this part of your data within your table. You could also insert another bar graph. You can click any ones you want. You could even do recommendation, which shows you just the bar graph, pie chart, so on and so forth. But I would select just the bar chart. So I'm going to click on that bar chart. You can make it bigger by dragging it. Also up here on the top where it says design, you can click on design and just do your own little design there. Make it look pretty. You can add the amounts there on the top. I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. And again, it has your little filtering. So if you just want to view cash, just select cash. Okay. And there's completed, which is orange, and canceled in blue. I'm going to select them all again. And this table here, another cool thing you can do with the table, if you don't like this formatting, you can click your table and basically just go to the top where it says design. Click that, and you can put your colors in there, whatever formatting you want. There's a bunch of different designs for you to choose from. So that's it with this data analysis. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is how easily you can clean up data in Excel. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.